Welcome to Timeless Shores, where we journey into the heart of Mediterranean Revival architecture, an enduring blend of elegance, nostalgia, and craftsmanship. This style isn't just about clay roofs and whitewashed walls. It's about a lifestyle, a feeling, and a timeless coastal charm reborn for the modern world. Let's explore its soul. Mediterranean Revival architecture emerged in the United States in the early 20th century, inspired by the classical architecture of Spain, Italy, and southern France. Wealthy travelers returning from Europe wanted homes that captured the romance of the Mediterranean coast. The result? A style rooted in tradition yet expressive and ornate. This architectural language pulls from several cultures: Spanish Renaissance, Italian Renaissance, Moorish, and even Venetian Gothic. Each regional flavor contributes a distinct ingredient: tiled roofs from Spain, colonnades from Italy, horseshoe arches from North Africa. Mediterranean Revival is a mosaic, not a monolith, rich, layered, and unmistakably enchanting. Mediterranean Revival home is instantly recognizable. Low-pitched red tile roofs, stucco walls, and curved romantic forms. These elements create a silhouette that feels both grounded and elegant, exuding warmth and permanence. The architecture embraces asymmetry and flow, giving each structure a sculptural, organic feel. Stucco isn't just a material, it's a statement. This plaster-like exterior finish offers a seamless, sun-kissed surface that glows under natural light. Whether in ivory, sand, or pale peach, stucco brings softness and subtle texture. It also ages beautifully, developing a patina that enhances the sense of timelessness. Clay roof tiles are more than just functional. They're poetry in terracotta. Their warm red tones evoke sun-drenched villas and historic seaside towns. Besides their beauty, they're durable, weather-resistant, and perfect for hot climates. When paired with wooden eaves and stone detailing, the result is an effortlessly refined crown. Arches are a defining feature of Mediterranean Revival design. They soften transitions between spaces, evoke classical beauty, and frame views like living paintings. From grand entranceways to breezy loggias, arches create rhythm and flow, inviting you to move slowly, linger longer, and appreciate every curve. Mediterranean homes are often built around a central courtyard, a private sanctuary of light, greenery, and serenity. These courtyards create a seamless indoor-outdoor experience, often featuring fountains, terracotta floors, and climbing vines. They're places for morning coffee, evening wine, and the quiet moments in between. Balconies, railings, lanterns. Wrought iron is the jewelry of Mediterranean Revival architecture. Intricate and enduring, it provides contrast against stucco walls and adds a handcrafted touch to every detail. Whether scrolling in florals or geometric shapes, wrought iron tells a story of artisanship and understated elegance. Even the most luxurious Mediterranean Revival homes aim to feel inviting rather than intimidating. Entrances are often recessed, framed by arches or columns, and crowned with decorative tile or stone. Heavy wood doors and lantern lighting signal warmth, history, and welcome. Windows in this style are often tall, narrow, and gracefully arched. They're placed to create dappled light and cooling cross breezes. Shutters, wooden or wrought iron, add charm and function. Every window feels curated, as if placed to frame a specific view or catch a specific breeze. From stair risers to kitchen backsplashes, hand-painted tiles are a signature flourish. Bright blues, burnt oranges, and geometric patterns bring vibrancy to even the smallest surfaces. Each tile tells a story of heritage, of culture, of life lived colorfully. They're tiny mosaics of the Mediterranean spirit. Mediterranean Revival color palettes are drawn directly from nature. Think sun-baked earth tones, sea glass blues, olive greens, and sunset ochres. These hues create harmony with the landscape and a sense of lived-in luxury. The palette isn't flashy, it's timeless, elegant, and soul-soothing. Walls of glass doors, tiled terraces, and pergolas blur the line between interior and exterior. This is architecture that celebrates climate and invites the outdoors in. Living rooms open to gardens, kitchens spill into courtyards, and bedrooms overlook private balconies. An immersive experience of nature and architecture. There's a quiet playfulness in Mediterranean Revival design. Symmetry where it soothes, asymmetry where it delights. A grand central door might be flanked by uneven windows. A staircase might twist unexpectedly. These intentional choices give homes character, charm, and a touch of unpredictability. In many Mediterranean Revival homes, the fireplace isn't just functional. It's the artistic centerpiece. Arched openings, intricate tilework, and carved stone mantels turn these hearths into heirlooms. They ground living spaces with warmth, both literal and aesthetic. Pergolas are essential outdoor elements in Mediterranean design. Often draped in bougainvillea or grapevines, they provide dappled shade and a touch of drama. Whether built of stone, wood, or iron, they frame patios, pathways, and gardens with structure and softness. Gardens surrounding these homes are lush but intentional, favoring native, drought-tolerant plants like lavender, rosemary, olive trees, and citrus. Stone paths, urns, and fountains add elegance and sensory richness. It's a garden that feels ancient and cultivated, never over-designed. Lighting is warm and atmospheric. Think amber sconces, pendant lanterns, and flickering wall torches. These elements are typically wrought iron or aged bronze, designed to cast shadows and romance across stucco walls. Lighting here is never harsh. It's storytelling with lumens. Even modestly sized Mediterranean Revival homes can feel luxurious. Clever use of light, flow, and outdoor access creates the illusion of expansiveness. This style isn't about square footage, it's about soul. It makes every inch feel curated, useful, and elegant. Today, architects are blending the traditional form with modern materials. Eco-friendly stuccos, recycled tiles, high-performance glazing. The spirit of Mediterranean Revival lives on, but evolves with new technologies. It's a beautiful marriage of sustainability and tradition. From Malibu to Miami, Tel Aviv to Tuscany, Mediterranean Revival continues to adapt to local cultures and climates. Its versatility lies in its ability to be both universal and specific, each project shaped by place, history, and personal interpretation. Every arch, every tile, every vine-covered wall is a nod to heritage. Mediterranean Revival is a love letter to centuries of architecture, culture, and craft. It tells stories not just of design, but of people, of families, artisans, and timeless traditions. More than most styles, Mediterranean Revival is deeply emotional. It creates homes that feel nostalgic, romantic, and restful. This is architecture designed to stir something in the soul, an aesthetic that embraces warmth, intimacy, and memory. This style embraces the imperfect, the weathered wall, the crooked tile, the uneven stucco. These aren't flaws, they're features. Mediterranean Revival celebrates the handmade and the time-worn, creating spaces that feel human, lived in, and loved. From Spanish-style estates in Hollywood Hills to historic villas in Coral Gables, Mediterranean Revival has long been a favorite among the elite. Its cinematic charm and grand, romantic spaces lend themselves perfectly to luxury living and timeless design. Younger architects are now reinterpreting Mediterranean Revival for a new era, pairing minimalist interiors with classic exteriors or mixing Mediterranean with mid-century. This hybridization keeps the style fresh, relevant, and infinitely creative. Trends come and go, but Mediterranean Revival endures because it connects us to something deeper. It taps into our desire for beauty, warmth, history, and home. It's not just a design style. It's a way of life steeped in soul and sunshine. In a world that moves fast, Timeless Shores invites us to slow down. Mediterranean Revival architecture is more than aesthetics. It's a philosophy of grace, beauty, and balance. As we look toward the future of design, may we continue to build not just homes but havens.